On New Year's Day, 1656, a fleet of Spanish treasure galleons left Cuba's Havana harbor bound for Spain. Leading the fleet and packed to the gunwales with riches was the sleek Maravilla. Legend says she was cursed. On this voyage, the curse would claim her. The Maravilla never made it to Spain. Between 1552 and 1800, more than 2,000 Spanish treasure galleons were lost at sea in the Western Hemisphere, and only a precious few have ever been found. Along Florida's eastern coast and into the treacherous reefs of the Bahamas, the sea floor is strewn with shipwrecks and littered with millions of dollars in Spanish treasure. The Maravilla is the second richest Spanish galleon ever lost at sea. This is the story of one man's quest to find the Maravilla. The man is underwater archaeologist and treasure hunter Bob Marks.
Treasure is trouble, and the more the treasure, the more the trouble, and the Maravilla has been nothing but trouble. So it's like a cursed wreck. In fact, my wife, she doesn't even like to talk about the Maravilla. So when people ask me which one of your most important finds, I usually name about 20 other ones before I even get to the Maravilla, even though it's such a rich ship.
Finding the Maravilla was Marx's obsession, a 12-year odyssey that led him to this spot over 30 years ago. Today, 30 miles off the coast of the Bahamas, on the Little Bahama Bank, lies the wreckage of the Maravilla. These divers know that the privilege and opportunity to dive for treasure on the Maravilla is because of Bob Marks. Marks's struggle to find the Maravilla is legendary. But aboard the Beacon, the ship that works the site today, that struggle is nowhere to be found.
Great marking, so get the marking.
In the last 5 years, divers have hauled up millions of dollars of the Maravilla's riches, which is still only a fraction of what she was bringing back to King Philip IV of Spain. Today, as each piece of treasure is found, it is logged and checked against the Maravilla's manifest, the sum of which is more than 5 million pesos of gold and silver, jewelry, and millions more in emeralds, pearls, and other precious gemstones. The mysterious Maravilla came to be known as Marx's phantom wreck after she had eluded him for years. But this only spurred him on. It was his single-minded vision that drove him to Spain, where he buried himself in the Spanish archives in Seville, hoping to unlock the riddle and find the Maravilla. Marx called through more than 15,000 documents for clues, including this haunting prayer written by a priest who survived the shipwreck. Blessed by the light of day and the holy cross we say, blessed be the immortal soul and the Lord who keeps it whole. Blessed be the light of day and he who sends the night away.
All the ships returning from the New World, the last stop was Havana, and so they would come up through the Straits of Florida. They would try to sight Cape Canaveral, but then they knew that they were far enough north that they could head northeast for Bermuda, Azores, and home. What happened in the case of the Maravilla, the whole fleet, they turned to the east, northeast too soon. They were in the middle of the channel. They didn't see the Cape, but they assumed they were far enough north. They were 50 miles further south than the Cape.
That mistake turned out to be fatal. In the misty darkness just past midnight on January 4th, 1656, disaster would greet the Maravilla. Most of the ship's passengers and crew of 650 were asleep, settled in for the long journey. When the night lookout made an alarming discovery, they were in less than 20 feet of water. As a warning to the other ships, he fired a small cannon into the night. Then all hell broke loose.
So another ship ran right into the Maravilla, put a big hole in the side. The captain, to keep it from everybody drowning immediately, tried to go further up on a bank, hit a reef, it broke in two pieces. Some of the priests, after the ship hit the reef and was breaking up and the people knew they were going to drown, he was charging 200 pieces of 8 coins to hear their confession before they died. All the priests drowned first because they had all this treasure that they were charging for confessions.
As dawn broke on the Little Bahama Bank, rescuers from other ships spotted only 45 survivors clinging to bits of debris. The sea had claimed the Maravilla, more than 600 lives, and all of her treasures. The documents pointed Marks to the Little Bahama Bank and 3,600 square miles of ocean.
During the course of that summer of 1972, we found 60 ancient wrecks on that Little Bahama Bank. The Maravilla is spread out over somewhere between 10 and 15 square miles with 30 feet of sand on top. That main part that broke away from the stern section went down south at least 6 or 7 or 8 miles, dropping goodies. Subsequent hurricanes over the years spread the stuff east and west also. So hurricanes move the sand, move the goodies, and redeposit the stuff, and that's the difficulty with a wreck like this. It's easy to find the iron anchors with the magnetometer, which we already have, but you can't find the rest of the wreck with any known equipment. So it's dig a hole, dig another hole.
The search went on for years. They found shipwrecks, but not Marks's phantom wreck, not the Maravilla.
And on 3 cases, we actually found gold when we made the test holes, and my divers were out of their mind saying, "Chief, we just found a great wreck. Why do we have to look for the Maravilla?"
Why? That was Marks's nagging question, and the answer he knew was right in the heart of the Bermuda Triangle.
It's right in the very center of the Bermuda Triangle. There are periods when a magnetometer and all your other electronic equipment won't work. There are periods when radios don't work. So there are freaky things that do happen over there, and I can't account for them. We also had a number of shark problems. I ended up with 268 stitches because I ran into a shark that didn't read my books and articles that sharks don't bite.
Despite all the obstacles, Marks woke up every morning with the dream that this might be the day. And when the magnetometer hit, he'd suit up and go down for a look.
Couldn't see it, of course, because there was 30 feet of sand, so when we blew the sand away, there were these anchors, and the first thing I found was a cannonball. So with my hammer, I knocked the coral off the cannonball, and there was the English broad arrow, which means British property. So normally you would say, forget it, it's the wrong wreck. So something told me. So I said, okay, let's dig a second hole next to the anchors.
On August 24th, 1972, when that hole was opened in the sand, Bob Marks stepped into his dream.
There were thousands of silver coins and gold coins and pewterware, candlestick holders and everything, so I knew it was the Maravilla then after all those 12 years.
Marks had hit the mother lode. After 12 long years, it was no longer his phantom wreck. It was the Maravilla of Spain, more than 300 years since she vanished in the night. Ironically, the news of treasure discoveries travel fast. Within days, the area was thick with modern-day pirates.
We had 11 different times where with weapons, we actually had to chase boats away that were coming for us. In a couple cases, we think there were people coming to take the treasure because, like all treasure stories, things get magnified. It was billions that we were bringing up, not millions, billions.
All the danger and controversy couldn't keep Bob Marks, treasure hunter and archaeologist, from retrieving artifacts from the ocean floor, each one a piece of history with an eerie story to tell.
One of the first silver bars that I brought up, an 80-pound silver bar, and it actually had the name of the captain of the ship on it. So this was his own personal bar. So I try to make things come back to life by finding names and documents about people.
The Maravilla was also bringing King Philip treasures from as far away as China.
This piece is probably worth $75,000, $80,000 today, and it has the inscription on the back also. We found lots and lots and lots of these gold bars. When they have the markings like here, the Roman XX1, it's 21 carats. Usually there's 50 to 100% the total value that's on the ship is contraband. And of the contraband, the most contraband is usually gold. And for example, this piece does not have any markings. It's crudely cast, probably cast in sand. It's 25 pounds of solid gold, no taxes. This was being smuggled back.
After 6 weeks, bringing up millions of dollars worth of treasure, the decks of Marx's boat were crammed to capacity with treasure and artifacts, and they headed into port. The rumors of billions had beaten them to the Bahamas. The Bahamian government was suspicious, and armed guards greeted him at the dock. Marx tried to convince them that there were no billions. They weren't being cheated. The government refused to believe him and banished him from the Bahamas. The curse of the Maravilla had struck again. Marx could never return to the site, but he was the only person alive who knew exactly where she was.
So there was a period of over 15 years that nobody worked on the wreck. And since that time, I've had a couple other companies work on the wreck. Marex from Memphis, Tennessee, led by Herbert Humphreys. And they've found a considerable amount of treasure in the last 5 years.
With Marx's help and detailed knowledge of the wreck, Marex has recovered millions more from the Maravilla. Bob shares a percentage. Bob Marx is a professional archaeologist and treasure hunter, and he has searches and salvage operations going in all parts of the world.
In '95, for example, I went 13 times around the world. If it wasn't fun, I won't do it. I got all these books I got to read, and I'm getting older and older all the time.
The many, many millions of dollars of treasure that has been retrieved from the Maravilla is only a small portion of what she had aboard. Still hiding in the sand is a life-size statue like this one of the Madonna and Child, cast in solid gold. For Marx, the Maravilla has been both a blessing and a curse.
Trying to say how much treasure you found, it's very, very, very difficult. But multi-millions, let's put it that way. But I had investors, the government of Bahamas got a cut. The Spanish government stepped in and decided they owned the wreck, so I spent a fortune with legal things. I even tangled with the mafia. They claim I had to deal with them, some guys from Las Vegas. That was a lawsuit that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars and quite a few scares. So it's been a curse, a lot of trouble.
Today, these Marex divers are sharing a dream with Bob Marx. It is the spirit of adventure and discovery that beckons them all. The Spanish galleon Maravilla may have been found, but the ocean still clutches most of her secrets.
It will produce forever and ever. It's just one of these wrecks that produces. There were always good days. The thrill of discovery, it's in my blood.